As Mirabel explores the Colombian branch with Juanita, she is amazed by its architecture and culture due to how lively it is and how it reminds her of the Encanto. She ends up getting distracted by the sound of accordion playing and is shocked to discover her old friend Diego Jimenez playing nearby. Diego Jimenez, or also known as Senor Jimenez, or even Old Man Jimenez by the locals, was a mentor figure and the closest thing Mirabel had to a grandfather until he passed away prior to the events of Encanto, like the movie, not the location. Diego was just a surprise to see her again, as he never expected to see her in the land of the dead of all things, but he's also happy to meet her, as it has been years since they last saw each other, though he becomes concerned over why she's here until she explains everything to him. He is sympathetic to her plight while also blaming Alma for driving Mirabel away and scapegoating her over the magic's disappearance, though Mirabel tries to defend her family, as despite her distrust and anger towards them, she still cares for them. Diego rightfully points out how her family seem to care more about the magic than about her, and even suggests that for her own safety and well-being, she cut them out of her life for good, or better yet, just stay away from the Encanto forever if it will make her feel better. Juanita later shows up to scold Mira for being distracted and asks the old man if he has seen Pedro anywhere. Diego Jimenez gives them directions to Pedro's home office, which is straight up ahead, to which the two women thank him before bidding him farewell. And the chapter ends with Mirabel once again being distracted as she notices one of the skeletons dropping her earring and bringing it to her, only to discover that said skeleton is actually a member of the Rivera family from Coco, as Juanita and Adria mentioned Miguel Rivera earlier and his adventure throughout the land of the dead a year ago. Mirabel and Juanita end up encountering Rosita Rivera, along with Imelda and Victoria Rivera, who were shopping for some clothes in the Colombian branch, despite technically being from the Mexican branch. When they find out about Mirabel's condition, they gladly bring her and Juanita to Pedro's house while explaining to them over how they know Pedro through Imelda, as it turns out Pedro was the one who helped bring Imelda and Hector back together, as he was able to provide them some counseling, or more specifically couples counseling, to help them get over their personal issues and rekindle their romance. And as they travel throughout the Colombian branch, Imelda explains more about how the afterlife works, with how the skeletons or the souls are able to pass through the branches with relative ease, and how alebrijes work, which surprises Mirabel as she's never heard of alebrijes. Well, partially because Colombian culture doesn't usually have alebrijes, while it's also because she and her family were closed off from the rest of the world, so they know very little about how the world works exactly. But overall, like, they're able to have a better understanding. At least, like, Mirabel is able to understand it more from what Imelda and the others are telling her. And the chapter ends with the group finally arriving at the front door of Pedro's house, with Mirabel knocking on said door and waiting for him to open it.